I've lived in Pinecrest Ridge for 5 years now. It's one of those semi-rural WA subdivisions, wide lots, fancy gates, neighbors with too much time and too little business of their own. I moved here before I ever met my wife, so she's always joked that I unknowingly bought a house inside a polite dictatorship. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for the day the WA tried to get my wife arrested. The irony: my wife, Sheriff Amanda Keller, is not only the highest-ranking officer in the county, she's also the one who personally trains every deputy on procedure, de-escalation, and county law. And the WA, in all their incompetence, sent those same deputies to arrest the woman who signs their training certifications. Let me start from the beginning. 1. Amanda moves in, and WA Karen goes nuclear. When Amanda and I got married earlier this year, she moved into my place. She's down to earth, calm, and the last person to flaunt her badge. She prefers gardening and reading on the porch to anything that might draw attention. But there was one problem. WA President Karen Wentworth, you know the type, clipboard, sunglasses, attitude like she's auditioning for a TV villain role. The moment she saw the moving truck, she marched over like the bells of WA Doom were ringing. She introduced herself not with, "Welcome," but, "Just so you know, we have standards in this community." Amanda smiled politely. "I'm sure you do." Karen narrowed her eyes like she recognized Amanda but couldn't place from where. Probably from the news. Amanda had been interviewed several times after major search and rescue operations. But Karen didn't connect the dots. Not yet. 2. The first. Violations. 1 week later, we got 4 violation letters. 1. Unauthorized vehicle in driveway, Amanda's official county truck. 2. Improper uniform display, her sheriff jacket was hanging on a porch hook. 3. Suspicious activity, Amanda doing her morning workout in the yard. 4. Failure to register resident, because we hadn't updated the WA with Amanda's background documents. Amanda laughed reading them. "This is adorable, she thinks she's DHS. I told her we could fight them, but she waved it off. It's fine, she'll get bored eventually." She didn't. 3. Karen declares war. One afternoon, Amanda was fixing a section of our wooden fence that had warped in the summer heat. She had her tool belt on, hair tied back, clothes a little dusty. Karen pulled up in her golf cart like a dictator arriving at the front lines. She pointed a finger dramatically. "You, stop right there." Amanda kept hammering. Karen gasped like she'd witnessed a felony. "That fence is WA property. You are vandalizing community infrastructure." "It's my fence," Amanda said calmly. "It belongs to the WA. It was on my property survey." "Lies." Amanda sighed and went inside to get the paperwork. But Karen wasn't interested in facts. She wanted power. She snapped photos of Amanda, muttering, "I'm building a case." Amanda shrugged. "Go ahead." That only enraged her more. 4. The emergency meeting. 3 nights later, I got an email titled, "Mandatory WA emergency disciplinary hearing regarding your wife's behavior." I laughed so hard I nearly choked. Amanda peeked at the email. Oh boy, what did I do this time? Inside were bullet points: aggression toward WA leadership, suspicious government vehicle, possible impersonation of law enforcement, threatening demeanor, refusal to submit personal records for safety clearance. Amanda blinked. They think I'm impersonating myself. We didn't attend. Karen left 8 voicemails demanding we report to the clubhouse. We ignored all of them. And that's when things escalated from annoying to illegal. 5. Karen calls the cops. Big mistake. I was working from home when it happened. 2 sheriff cruisers rolled slowly into the cul-de-sac. Karen marched triumphantly behind them, waving her clipboard like the banner of a medieval army. I stepped outside. The deputies, Rodriguez and Mills, looked uncomfortable. Rodriguez whispered to me, is Sheriff Keller home?" Before I could answer, Karen shoved herself between us. "Officers, arrest the woman inside. She's pretending to be a sheriff and possibly planning retaliation against the HOA. She has weapons inside." Both deputies stared at her like she'd grown a second head. Mills asked carefully, "Ma'am, you're accusing Sheriff Amanda Keller of impersonating herself." Karen scoffed. "I don't care who she claims to be. I checked the database online. No one named Amanda Keller lives at this address. That's because she took my last name, I said. Karen blinked. She clearly hadn't considered that people sometimes get married. But she didn't back down. I demand she be removed from this community immediately. Rodriguez rubbed his forehead. Ma'am, you asked for units by claiming an armed intruder was on the property. That is a serious misuse of. And that's when the front door opened. 6. Amanda walks out, and the deputies snap to attention. Amanda stepped onto the porch wearing jeans, a t-shirt, and zero patience. Morning, boys. Both deputies immediately straightened like bolts of lightning hit their spines. Sheriff. Karen's face went pale. You're really. Yes, Amanda said. I'm really the sheriff. The same sheriff who trained both of these deputies. She pointed at Rodriguez. He couldn't hit a moving target his first week. Rodriguez laughed nervously. Still working on that, ma'am. Amanda crossed her arms. So, who called this in? Both deputies turned wide eyes toward Karen. Karen sputtered. I have the authority to investigate threats to the community. No, Amanda said. You don't. But I do. And what you've done here is file a false police report. Karen's mouth dropped open. You can't arrest me. I'm the HOA president. Amanda raised an eyebrow. HOA president is not a branch of government. 7. The investigation that flattened the HOA. Amanda didn't arrest Karen that day. But she did open a formal case. And once she starts something, she finishes it thoroughly. She interviewed neighbors, reviewed the HOA bylaws, and pulled every complaint they'd filed in the last 3 years. She found discriminatory enforcement, misuse of HOA funds, forged signatures on mandatory directives, unauthorized threats of fines, and, most importantly, multiple false emergency calls. Karen wasn't just power hungry. She was committing actual crimes. But Amanda gave them a chance. She requested a meeting with the entire HOA board. 8. The day Amanda walked into the HOA meeting, they expected her to be angry. Instead, she was calm, polite, and terrifyingly professional. Good evening, she said as she laid a folder on the table. This contains 42 incidents of HOA misconduct, including several misdemeanor offenses. The board members squirmed. Amanda continued, You targeted my husband. You targeted me, but more importantly, you abused authority you don't legally possess. Karen kept shaking her head. You can't do this. You live under our rules. Amanda leaned forward. Actually, I live under county law. And so do you. She gave them a choice. 1. Voluntarily resign, and the county would oversee a temporary HOA restructuring. 2. Refuse, and she would forward the case to the district attorney. They chose the former, shockingly quickly. Karen, however, tried to argue. You don't scare me, she hissed. My husband's cousin is a lawyer. Amanda gathered her papers. Great, he can explain the charges to you. Karen went ghost white. 9. The fallout. 2 weeks later, Karen resigned. The HOA board dissolved. A county-appointed manager took over temporarily. New elections were scheduled, and a mandatory audit uncovered thousands of dollars in administrative fees Karen had been pocketing. Neighbors came by our house with cookies, apologies, and relief. Turns out, everyone had been suffering under Karen's reign, but nobody wanted to risk fines or retaliation. Amanda made sure the new bylaws required transparency, financial reporting, and strict limits on HOA authority. It was the calmest the neighborhood had been in years. 10. The final twist. One evening, a county envelope arrived. Inside was a citation. For Karen. The charge: filing a false emergency report and attempting to use law enforcement for personal harassment. She got a $1,500 fine, 80 hours of community service, mandatory HOA ethics training which made me laugh for 10 minutes straight. And of course, a restraining order preventing her from contacting us again. 11. The new normal. Amanda and I were sitting on the porch when she said, You know, I didn't want to start my married life by dismantling an HOA. I grinned. But you did. She shrugged. People need to learn not to weaponize authority. Neighbors now wave enthusiastically whenever she drives by in her county truck. The deputies tease her endlessly. Sheriff, don't let the HOA arrest you again. And me, I learned something very important. When the HOA decides to pick a fight, they should really check who they're picking a fight with. Especially when she signs their deputies' performance evaluations. Dash dash dash.